Hello.
Here we have Thomas Linders, that is a permaculture wizard, and he's been working with water for quite some time. And I'm going to just ask him a few questions about water in general and in particular grey water. So Thomas, just explain to us, what is grey water?
Well, grey water is all the wastewater that comes out of your house from your bathroom, basically, your bathroom and basins. It doesn't include the toilet water and the water that comes out of the kitchen. That we would call black water.
Okay. And why should I recycle grey water in the first place?
Well, it's a resource that you've paid for already when you have municipal water in your property, and you might as well use it twice. You paid for it, so it's in a water scarce country like ours. It's of important that we use every drop of water as many times as possible.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I know a lot of people have problems with grey water because, you know, it's all, first of all our grey water is currently mixed with sewage, is that correct?
Yes.
So it goes to a big pipe and it gets taken away, and apparently we even pay for its treatment as well.
That's right, yeah. So you pay to get it into your house, and then you pay again for them to take it away and treat it so that they can sell it back to you as drinking water again, in many of the big cities at least.
Okay, so you're basically telling me that they are treating our sewage and grey water and selling it back to us as drinking water.
That happens in many of the big cities. I know, for example, from Europe, where, you know, Zurich, the water has gone 7 times through the human organism in most cases. Amsterdam, Rotterdam, and these places about 13 times. So many of the big cities, they just recycle the water. We're a little bit more lucky here. We get a lot of water from the Lesotho Highlands project, which in itself is a very unsustainable way of providing your water needs.
Okay, so basically by separating the grey water and not mixing it with the black water, we're already a step in the right direction.
Yes.
Because grey water just has a few of our soaps and hair, a little bit of skin particles, where the sewage got, you know, the other stuff. So by separating it, it's much easier to treat grey water than when they're mixed up together.
Yes, definitely. And because if you're recycling your grey water straight away and don't let it stand, then it has very little smell. And depending how we are recycling it, it is of no consequence to your garden, really. If you let your grey water stand for any longer than 48 hours, it becomes basically black water and starts to smell.
Okay. All right. And what is the simplest way that we could recycle grey water on a shoestring budget? If people really don't have any bucks and they want to start, what can they do?
Yeah, the simplest would be to cut your grey water pipe, which is the smaller 50 ml pipe that comes out of your bathroom, and you connect to that the flexible pipe like a pool pipe or a fabric pipe that you can then just lead to your garden. You could put a reducer on there so that you can just put a normal hose pipe on it.
Okay.
And take it to spots in the garden. Ideally, it would be an area that is mulched. Mulch means that your soil is covered with leaves, with straw, which is anyways advisable in a climate as ours, because there's a much higher amount of microbes that live in that moist environment, and it is the microbes that really break down most of the pollutants that would be in the grey water.
I see you've got a lovely banana circle behind you. I believe that is also quite a simple way to recycle water, grey water.
Yeah, in an area where you don't have too much frost, it's a fantastic way of growing food at the same time, growing beautiful fruit. Bananas like to have their feet in water, but you can add other plants that like a wet environment, like for example madumbis, certain mints. They would work nicely around your bananas. And it's basically a pit that you mulch very heavily, where you plant your bananas in, and they will give you a good fruit on an ongoing basis after a couple of years of establishment.
Okay, that's awesome, thank you. And I'd like to find out, I've been doing some research, and there is a term called constructed wetland. Why should I create a constructed wetland, and what are the benefits of it?
There is various benefits of putting your grey water through a constructed wetland. The one is that you create another environment within your garden, so you'll have a wetland environment. And basically what we do was that, like with everything in permaculture, we mimic what happens in the natural environment out there within nature. So you'll find that wetland plants always grow where there's a lot of pollution happening, even if it is sediments from floods and so on. You'll find those aquatic plants, and they themselves do a certain amount of cleaning and eating up nutrients, but it is the microbes that live around the root system that get oxygen from the wetland plants that actually are doing the work. So with a constructed wetland, where you mimic wetlands within nature, you're cleaning the water before it can then, for example, be used in recycling it back with a small 12-volt pump or so into your system, and you can flush your toilets with it. You can then use it alternatively in a system that we could call aquaponics, where you're growing fish and you're then using that fertilized water from the fish back in your garden.
Okay, so basically a constructed wetland can take nutrient-dense water from with soaps and hair and skin, treat it to a reasonable quality which fish would love to be in.
Yes.
So we could treat our water and grow food, protein at the same time, and grow vegetables after the aquaponic system.
Yeah. There you, for example, you're using your water resource 3 times. Yeah, you're cleaning it through the wetland, which is in itself a new niche, a new environment, which very often brings different birds, different amphibians to your garden environment, so you make your natural system richer.
Right.
Then you're growing fish,
Great.
which is a protein source, or just joy for the eye. If you, for example, love your koi fish or your goldfish for your children or so on, that is an aesthetic value in itself. And because they obviously manure into the water, if you use that water, then you water and fertigate your vegetables within your garden, or your ornamentals within your garden. So that would be another use put there to your grey water.
So that is 3, and of course, not to forget to mention, we already showered with that water. So the water has had 4 uses.
Yes.
And we're flushing the toilets with the same water thereafter. So almost we could get 5 multiple uses out of that water. So we actually keep the water within the system.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. So that is wow. That's 5 times use out of 1 liter of water. I'd say that's very good value for your money.
Yes.
Now, Thomas, I believe that if I haven't constructed the wetland, and if I don't have the banana pits, but like I've done in my garden, I've just cut the pipe and I've got it going into a 1,000-liter tank. And I have been using it quite often, but I found on the rainy days, I don't need use for that water, and it starts to accumulate. What can I do if that water really starts to smell? How do I turn that 800 liters of water from black water? I believe it's now gone black, so it's got very nasty and chewy, like my son likes to say. What do I do with that to get it back to its life force?
Yeah. There is a couple of ways that I would do it. The one would be that you aerate it, for example, with a little air pump that you could connect to a solar panel. You could just put air into it, and that will keep it aerobic. So it means it supports your oxygen-loving microorganisms, and if you support that with adding some beneficial microbes, like for example effective microorganisms (EM) into which is like a probiotic for soils, for smelly waters, if you add that into it, you'll help those aerobic bacteria to deal with the smell, because what we smell is very often like hydrogen sulfide, the rotten egg smell, which the microbes split up into hydrogen and sulfur, where it's then not a problem anymore. And they use that to build their bodies and to multiply. So it's not a smell problem anymore, and also not an environmental problem anymore.
So basically, if I've got the stagnant water that's standing there, I can put some EM, which is a product Thomas actually brews. I will be adding his link at the bottom of this video, so you could buy some of the EM. But so you can add the EM, and the water will not be smelly anymore, and it will actually turn itself into a fertilizer. Yeah. So you're going again from a problem to a fertilizer solution. That's fantastic. All using nature and natural processes.
Yes, absolutely. And those microbes, when you then irrigate your garden, it would they will start establishing in your garden depending on the level of organic matter that you have already in your soil, because the organic matter within your garden is the house for those microbes.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you very much for your time and energy, and please remember to scroll below and leave a comment. Would love to hear your stories. Would love to hear your comments. The website is alosha.co, ALOSHA.co. Please leave a comment. Would love to hear from you. From the earth. All the best.